Keith the Bird is a Canadian who has come and decided to stay in Vietnam since 2007. He loves Vietnam and especially Vietnamese food. Keith has kept discovering Vietnamese cuisines and the possibility to enrich Vietnamese modern cuisine with his own characteristics. In December 2014, Keith teamed up with his friend to open Moose & Brew Smokehouse in Hanoi, specializing in barbecue. He has always tried to create and retain the most delicious flavors and recipes of the food and drink from Canada, Australia, and especially the American barbecue flavor in his restaurant.
Most of the meat that we make at the Moose & Brew Smokehouse comes from this smoker, okay? So we've got our ribs, which we do for about 4.5 to 5 hours, depending on how thick the ribs are. We're doing our chicken wings for our wing special tonight. We've got our whole chickens. Those are about 4 hours as well. We do our beef brisket. We do the brisket for about 14 hours. So that's the longest take.
Many foreign diners have come to enjoy the flavor of these dishes in the heart of Hanoi.
I've been coming to the Moose & Brew for 2 years. I'm a big fan of Keith. I love what he does here. I love Wings Wednesday. My good friend Darry, who you'll see in a minute, is a chef. He's very talented. It's just a nice outdoor space, very sunny, very bright, and good quality food, very cheap. So, good place to come.
In 2016, Moo & Brews ranked first in the Barbecue Olympics and the second for Best Burger in Hanoi by the Word Vietnam magazine.
Khi mà ăn ấy, kể cả những cái món mà tôi thích nhất là những cái món như burger ấy, thì là nó rất là cái vị của nó ấy, thì rất là đặc trưng mà giống như khi mà tôi học ở bên nước ngoài. Tôi thấy cái vị của nó khác hoàn toàn với những cái burger mà tôi đã từng ăn ở đây. Đó là tôi cảm nhận được. Nó rất là nó có một cái gì đó nó rất là Mỹ, rất là Canada.
Hello everyone, welcome to Sharing Vietnam on VTC10 Net Viet. In the first reportage, we got to know a little bit about our guest speaker today, Mr. Keith, the owner of the restaurants Moose & Brew. And in the next talk, please welcome him to talk more with us in the journey of discovering different tastes of the ingredient in Vietnam to bring into his restaurants. Thank you, Keith, for joining our program today. We know that you have been living for the past 8 years in Vietnam. So could you share with us on this journey?
So I was traveling throughout Southeast Asia for a little less than a year, between Laos, Cambodia, and Thailand. And then I got to Vietnam, and I really enjoyed it. Wanted to extend my stay. So when I got to Hue, I looked around and saw that the hotels were very reasonably priced. So I thought, I'll spend a month here, relax, don't have to worry about packing and moving. And then after that month, I renewed my visa for another month. And then I ended up getting a job as the food and beverage manager of one of the local hotels. And then about 8 months after I decided to stay, I met my girlfriend at the time, who is now my wife. Now we have 2 beautiful boys, a couple of restaurants, and yeah. So I think it was a very good decision to stay.
How did you find your passion in cooking and the urge to open a restaurant in Hanoi?
My whole background, my entire adult career has been in the food and beverage industry. I've had a few cafes in Vancouver, always worked with restaurants. My whole family is pretty much in the restaurant industry, so it was kind of inevitable. You follow what your family business is usually. Then when I got here, I ended up taking over a position at Jackson Steakhouse as the general manager, and I really saw the sort of the change in the food culture that was happening in Hanoi, and that more and more Vietnamese customers were willing to experience something different, trying American food, trying Canadian food, even some Australian things that we offer on our menus. And it just seemed to be the right position to be in to open up a small cafe in the Old Quarter. And then when we had success with that, I figured that we should probably try something a little bit bigger. And then we decided to open up the Moose and Roost Smokehouse.
Why did you choose barbecue as the main theme of your restaurant, but not anything else?
When I was younger, I spent a few months in Houston, Texas. Okay, and I'd never really had real American barbecue until that time. And being from Canada, I've had barbecue, but not quite like that. When I tasted my first real American barbecue, I was in love. It's absolutely one of my favorite types of food. And I just thought that would be something that would cross over well into a Vietnamese market.
Your restaurants happen to rank first in the Barbecue Olympics organized by the World Magazine. So how did you research and experience with different tastes and spices of Vietnam?
We draw a lot of inspiration from Vietnamese techniques in the sense that we really enjoy having fresh produce every single day, first thing in the morning. Fresh proteins, and you know the idea of actually sharing in a more social environment with eating is something we certainly drawn from the Vietnamese culture of eating. Our flavor profiles are much different. We use a lot of dry rubs. We use a lot of spicy. You know, a lot of the stuff has a very distinctive smoky flavor because we smoke all of our meats, and that was something that was a little bit difficult in the beginning. To explain to even non-North American customers is that's the flavor profile we're going for. But as far as drawing from sort of the Vietnamese, I think the best thing that we've drawn from that is just the idea of cooking fresh every single day.
On the journey to discover food in his second homeland, Hanoi, Vietnam, Keith discovered that barbecue and grills are the dishes emphasizing the differences between Vietnamese and Western cuisine. This has helped him adjust the taste of the dishes suitable for Vietnamese customers.
It smells really, really, really nice. Looking forward to trying it. So the big difference between this and what we do at the Moose and Roost Smokehouse is this going on the grill right now. So I'll be able to eat this in a couple of minutes. Back in my place, it would take at least 4 hours. But this is going to be good and it's going in my belly pretty soon. Good. Okay.
Tẩm ướp xong chúng ta để 30 phút
30 foot, okay.
cho thực phẩm ngấm.
I'm very excited. I can't wait to try it. My stomach is waiting very happy, yeah?
Okay.
So, for me, the biggest difference between the Vietnamese barbecue and American barbecue, obviously, is the flavor profile. This has got much more of an Asian flavor to it, but it's also the instantaneous cooking versus the slow cooking that we use at the Moose and Roost Smokehouse. This is fresh, lovely, really nice to share with friends, obviously, and being able to do this and cook together is a very social occasion.
opening up a barbecue restaurant in Vietnam, do you think that your barbecue will beat the Vietnamese barbecue?
I wouldn't necessarily say beat. It's different. You know, when we go out with my Vietnamese side of my family, we tend to usually stick with the Vietnamese barbecue. Beat's a strong word. It's different. It's different. It's, well, you put me on the spot here. I just think that the Vietnamese barbecue is different because, as we talked about earlier, some of my meats take up to 14 hours to cook. So it's not readily available to be able to be cooked at the table or to be cooked in the kitchen and brought out right away. So if we're out of brisket, we're out of brisket till the next day. When we run out of ribs, we're out of ribs. We can't say to somebody, if you give us 20 minutes, we'll make you some more. Whereas, you know, typically with a Vietnamese barbecue style, you either cook it at the table or somebody cooks it for you, and it's very quickly cooked, which I do like. I like that flash cooking. But yeah, it's just different. One's not better than the other. It's just I know American barbecue. I don't really know Vietnamese barbecue. I know how to eat it. I just don't really know how to make it. Yeah, from my experience with my foreigner friends, people that come to visit from Canada, the United States, it's already pretty popular. It's usually on most people that I know's to-do list. Now, as far as a promotion angle, I really just think that seeing people eat barbecue on the street is about the best promotion you're going to get. You go down to the Old Quarter, for example, and foreigners will walk by, and even foreigners that might be a little reluctant to try street food seem to be a lot more comfortable with the barbecue. You know, some of the chain places, they're okay, but the real mom and pop shops, that's where I think the sort of the angle of being able to give somebody a true Vietnamese barbecue experience would be the best way to go. Again, there's nothing wrong with the chain places. They're good and they're good value, but when I want my Vietnamese barbecue, I want it proper. I want it being made by, you know, a family.
And finally, Keith, what are your plans in Vietnam? Would you do anything else than just running a business of restaurants?
No, I'm definitely going to build more restaurants in Vietnam. But I really have no desire to go outside of Vietnam at this stage of my life. I really like the people here. I like the way I can interact with my staff. Going to, say, Cambodia, Thailand, or Laos, it would be a whole new learning curve. I'm just too old for that. I like my life here. I like everybody. I love my staff. My customers are fantastic. You know, getting out to a new location, it's the fun part. It's the building the relationships. That's what I like, and I really don't see myself doing it outside of Vietnam.
Once again, thank you, Keith, so much for joining our program today, and I hope all the best for your future plans in Vietnam.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
And that's the end of our program today. Thank you so much for watching us. For any questions and feedback, please email to sharingvietnam@netvietTV.net. Thank you and see you again.